YouTube, what it do? It's your boy TWV, and we are back. We are doing the recap and review videos again. It is now time for the road to WrestleMania season. Today was the kickoff of the new calendar year for Raw, so it was a somewhat jam-packed show. It was a little lackluster in my opinion for the Stranger Things collab that they had going on. I don't watch Stranger Things, so I did not like it, but I didn't really care for it either. They didn't do anything except have just some different little things throughout the arena. And they had like things themed like chapters, like each match was like a chapter. Whatever, it didn't really do anything for me. But to kick off the show, it was the Kabuki Warriors versus Io and Rhea for the women's tag team championship. The Kabuki Warriors did come in as tag champs. It was a great open to the show. You had your two biggest women stars at the moment, kicking off with Io and Rhea, set the tone for the night. They had a really fun match, a lot of back and forth, high-paced action. Rhea being the powerhouse, the Kabuki Warriors, and Io just being the high flyers, zipping and running around, Io going crazy, doing her thing. So, it was a great match. The ending of the match was really dope. I really liked it. It was a Riptide into the Over the Moon. I never thought I would see that combination before. And then Io ran and dove out the ring and basically took Kyrie out. Rhea got the pin. 1, 2, 3. They are your new women's tag team champions. The tag team scene has been really ramped up ending the year, so I like that they put a more of an elevated presence on it coming into the new year. Not saying the Kabuki Warriors weren't elevated, but the star power of Rhea Ripley and Io, where you can have new people go challenge for the world title and still have them around and have them elevate another title. And you just get more pairings and matches. So you got Charlotte and Alexa, you got Lash and Nia. You can call up some tag teams from NXT. You got the Kabuki Warriors, of course. You got Bayley and Lyra. The Judgment Day, whatever pairing you want to do. If you want to do Liv and Roxanne, Liv and Raquel, Roxanne and Raquel. So it's a lot of different options. If you want to go Meech and B-Fab over there on SmackDown, if you want to do Chelsea Green and one of the Secret Hervis, it's a lot of options for the tag division. So I'm very optimistic about how the tag division is going to go this year for the women's side. We will circle back to the men's later because they had a segment later in the show. But right now, the women's tag division is something I'm really interested in seeing develop throughout the course of the year heading into WrestleMania season. I do think that they should get a really, really big spotlight depending on who is holding the belts around WrestleMania because there is a lot of talent. And right now, they have the highest level of star power with the belts outside of possibly, Charlotte and Alexa. So, with that being said, let's get to the next segment. The next segment was Gunther coming out to basically, still gloat about beating John Cena last month. And AJ Styles ended up coming out and basically setting the tone like, hey, you're not going to keep talking about John Cena and disrespecting the legend. But Gunther, basically told AJ, I made John Cena tap out like a little bitch. And what is little AJ going to do about it? So AJ ended up slapping him. And then they just basically pressed foreheads against each other, which is basically, we already knew this coming into the new year from last year when, Gunther walked past AJ and laughed at him before he walked to his car on that one episode of Raw. So we know we were building to Gunther versus AJ. It will be next week. I do think this is the start of the feud. I think that this does build further into the year. I don't know if we can get it all the way to April. I do think that if they're not in the Rumble, we can run a match back at the Rumble. But I do see it circling back around sometime in the later half of the year. If AJ doesn't just retire at WrestleMania, I don't think he's going to do that. I think he's going to do the same thing as Cena, wrestle the whole year and retire in December. So I wouldn't be surprised if Gunther retires him in the end of the year.
That's what I thought. Nothing.
I think Gunther is now the new legend killer, quote unquote, circa Randy Orton in the early 2000s. I want to say 2008 to 2010 was the Legend Killer era. So I guess Gunther's the new Legend Killer. He's just retiring all the greats and legends. So I'm not mad at it. But this promo did what it did, served its justice. Let's get to the next one. So the next in-ring action we had was Becky Lynch versus Maxine Dupree for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. And I am a huge Maxine Dupree fan. I loved all her work, chasing the title. She's worked really hard in ring over the past year. Like, she didn't get to go to NXT and grind it out and learn the game. She got put on the main roster and was a side character at first, and then I guess somebody in the back was like, hey, we're going to attempt to give you the ball and run with it. You do what you need to do. Of course, she did partner with Natty, Natalya. So Natalya's a legend in the business. I think Natty is the longest tenured woman on the WWE roster. I want to say she's been around since 2008, if I'm correct, maybe 2007. She's the longest though, for sure. And Natty's a legend. Of course, she doesn't be on TV a lot, but she can train her, and the training that she's given Maxine has definitely paid off. Like, Maxine can go in that ring. Of course, she's not an EO, Bianca, Rhea, but if you give her, 5 to 7 minutes, she can put you out a banger, a little quick banger. She can put you out one of them. I do want to see her work up to a longer match. I don't know if she'll ever get there just because of the level of women's talent. But I am optimistic because she did have a good build to chasing Becky for the belt, beating Becky for the belt. The match tonight was really good. Like I said, it was a little sprint. I do think that her dropping the belt to Becky, Becky stole the win, of course, tonight. She was in a ankle lock, and then she rolled through and basically put all her weight on Maxine and then held the ropes. So the ref didn't see it because she was like holding the ropes on this side and the ref was on the opposite side. So I think we're going to build to this. I don't know if we're going to build to a rematch on Raw or if we're going to stretch this to Royal Rumble. I do feel like we could stretch this to Royal Rumble and give Maxine the win back over there. So we shall see what's going on with that. But I am, I like they hot potato the belt. I like that. So with that being said, it did serve its justice. We will see how it plays out. Let's get to the next one. The next segment was the Usos basically putting the whole tag division on notice. Let them know if they want some, essentially come get some, run up, get done up. So short, sweet, straight to the point. Just like the women's side, the men's side is a little more lackluster. So I want to see what they're going to do with the tag division. I'm optimistic as well. Like, they have the best tag team to hold the belts right now because of star power. Like, not saying AJ and Dragon Lee didn't have star power, but AJ is on his retirement tour now, so they had to get the belts off of him. I hope Dragon Lee does get reinserted back into that intercontinental scene. If he's going to be on Raw, he is a part of helping CM Punk defend off the Vision currently. Not to skip to the main event, but I do want to see him go on a singles run. I would like either him to take the belt off of Dom, or I don't know if they're going to do a draft because they didn't do a draft last year. They just let people go to whatever show. He could give he could give Carmelo Hayes a run for his money over there on SmackDown for the U.S. title. I do want Melo to hold the belt a little bit longer when we do talk about SmackDown on Friday. But yeah, I do want to see just more from Dragon Lee. The Usos definitely, straight to the point. Like I said, I want to see where the tag division goes for the men's side because there really isn't none. I mean, the division has 4 people that could technically be tag teams. You can interchange them whatever way you want to. SmackDown, I really don't know because actually talking about SmackDown, where's the Street Profits? Street Profits, I haven't seen the Street Profits in like 3-4 months on TV, so I don't know if they're hurt or they're rebranding and repackaging them again. If they are, whoop-de-doo. I would prefer Montez to go single because Montez has all the potential to be a single superstar. Not saying he's Trick Williams, but he could have been what Trick Williams was on Friday night on SmackDown years ago. But hey, who am I? But it's the start of the year, so a lot of optimism with the tag division. So we will see how it shakes out. With that being said, let's get to the next one. So the next segment was Stephanie Vaquer speaking about her injury and essentially saying she's not going to relinquish the title. Thank God, because I don't know who they would have put the title on if Io and Rhea just got tag belts. Becky just got the IC belt. I mean, who could we really put it on unless we would have hot potatoed it to Raquel Rodriguez. But I think we're still gonna get there. I don't know if it's gonna get there now at Royal Rumble, Elimination Chamber, or WrestleMania. I don't know if they could drag their feud 4 months. But I do see Steph losing the belt before Mania. I do see her losing it before Mania. I guess working her way back. I guess feuding throughout the Judgment Day with Liv and Raquel. So, we shall see how it goes. I mean, it's the first Raw of the year. You know, we're about to get in gear for the Royal Rumble in the next week or two. I know they may start on SmackDown Friday, or if not Friday, they may start Monday with like qualifier matches. But I know the Royal Rumble will definitely get brought up in the next episode or two between SmackDown or Raw. So we'll see how that shakes out, and then I may be able to give you a better speculation on my end, just me fantasy booking as a fan. Of course, they have a direction, and I'll be tuned into what direction they are, through Twitter and watching the product. But I have my ideas too if I had to pin, so that's what y'all come to check out, my ideas as well. But she was straight to the point, said she's not relinquishing the belt. She's still taking on all challengers. That's when Raquel came and beat her up. Basically stomped on her ankle, hit her with the Tejada bomb. Went out there to get a steel chair, was going to step on the steel chair, but Pierce and the officials came and stopped her. So then right after that, after the commercial break, she's getting walked to the medical tent, and then she came back and beat her up again, threw her into like a couple boxes, all that. Was going to step on her ankle again, but Pierce ran out there and was like, hey, if you touch her, I'll fine you until you don't have any more money or whatever. You're done for the night. He basically told her to leave the arena. So we are building to this match, which I had no problem with. I feel like Raquel Rodriguez should have beat Rhea Ripley in that street fight when they were in Saudi the last time, when Rhea was the world champ. But hey, who am I? Who am I? Rhea could have took the loss. Rhea's so elevated, she could have took the loss, and nobody would have even batted an eye. And we could have probably gave her like, not how Priest won the belt, but gave her a chance 3 months, 4 months. Oh, if it doesn't work, at least you won the belt. We can pull it off you, and we could have Rhea chase the belt back or whatever seems fit. But that was future, not future. That's something in the past that we cannot change. But hey, with that being said, let's get to the next one. So the next match was Liv Morgan versus Lyra Valkyria, and this was Liv Morgan's first match back after being out of action for 7 months for that elbow injury she had. So it was a great opponent to be back in the ring with. Great ramp up match. It was a great fun match. A lot of back and forth, high pace. Of course, since it's a Judgment Day match and Roxanne is on the outside, Bayley's on the other side for Lyra. So of course, little distractions and cheap shots, distracting the ref and all that. So at one point, Roxanne got a little too much into the match, so Bayley grabbed a steel chair and chased her to the back. So while Lyra is on the ropes about to jump from the outside back to the inside, she doesn't. She ends up like stepping in, and she gets caught with Oblivion. 1, 2, 3. Liv gets her first win back. So I do want to see Liv, back in the main event picture, but I want to see the implosion of Judgment Day this year. So whatever way we could get to the implosion of Judgment Day, be my guest. We have teased this. I want to say, for 3 years now. We've been teasing this literally since WrestleMania 39. We are at 42. Like, I don't know when, but do it. Do it. Make Finn a face. I don't know if you want to split Raquel and Roxanne off. Liv can go wander off with Dom. Dom can turn face. Like, whatever we do, we need to separate them from each other. As much as I love them as a collective, it has overstayed its welcome. Everybody has made the most out of the group. I feel like everybody can go on their individual paths. Like, I feel like Roxanne could get pushed into that, not mid card. Well, she should win a mid card title in my opinion, but I feel like she could be a women's main eventer. She's that talented. I hope they see that in her just because of how talented she was in her NXT run. 2-time NXT women's champ. Like, come on, man. So let's do it. And for the main event of the evening, it was Braun Breaker versus CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship. And this has been built. No, I would say decent. It was built decent. They could have put a little bit more gas on it. But I think Punk was injured. I want to say 1 week or 2 weeks or something like that, so he couldn't be physically there. So Braun had to, step up his promo game and get on that mic, and that's what he did. So it showed that he can swim in them waters when he would have to potentially maybe carry a feud. It showed that he had that in him. So I did like that. But this match was fire. Fire. Punk has 2 opening Raw on Netflix back-to-back year bangers. Like, this match was a banger. Like, great back and forth. A lot of oohs and ahs. The crowd was really into it. I was really into it. I got off playing 2K temporarily to watch it. Like, I watched the entire show because I have a secondary TV over there, of course. But hey man, it was lit. They went back and forth. I want to say this might be Braun's longest match. I want to say this was like a 30 minutes or less. Not less, but anywhere between 22 to 30 minutes. It was fairly long. Like, it was a fairly long match. They had a good chunk of the end of the show. But it was fire. Like, Braun was hitting the gut busters, man. Punk, I thought he was going to pull out the Pepsi plunge, but I guess that's for a special occasion, but he did do the elbow drop, so at least we got that. Braun flew from the turnbuckle or the top rope onto Punk when he was on the announce table. Like, and I thought Braun was gonna win right there. I'm not gonna lie. And then he set Punk up for the spear. Punk kneed him, hit him with the go-to sleep. 1, 2, 3. It was an amazing match. It could right now, as it stands. This is the first match of the year. I'm not gonna lie. This was a great match. At some points it was a little slower pace, but that's kind of because Punk's older and that's kind of Punk's kind of style. He had to slow Braun down, so of course it makes sense when your dancing partner can run the ropes at like 22 miles per hour. You gotta slow him down. So, hey, great match all in all. But counting this Raw as a whole, if I can give it a 1 through a 10. It's like a 6. You know what I'm saying? The first match and the last match really carried the show. Everything in between was just, it was decent. Nothing really jumped off the page. Outside of the Raquel Rodriguez, I do like how they are presenting her. That really did, I like that a lot. Because I've been a big Raquel fan since NXT. If any of y'all know anybody that comes from NXT to the main roster, I've been watching them for a long amount of time, even if they're the older wrestlers or the new wrestlers like Javon. Javon got signed to Raw tonight. Like, I've been watching Javon his entire NXT run. And I just said in my top 10 matches video, it'll be linked at the end of this video, that I would have wished that he won the NXT championship. Obviously, he's not going to win that anymore now that he's signed to Raw. So I do think that Leon Slater will win the belt off of Obafemi tomorrow, and that would be a history-defining moment. But WWE sees Leon Slater really highly, even though he's not signed with them yet. If he beats Oba and becomes the first ever non-WWE contracted superstar to win the WWE title, obviously he will be signing with the brand whenever his TNA contract is up. So that is something to look out for tomorrow when I watch NXT. That will be, we'll discuss that when the video goes live Wednesday. But with that being said, it's your boy TWV checking in and checking out. I'll catch you tomorrow for the next one. Peace.